Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this sign, and it's pretty bad, but it can be done. So as always, it's already pretty little. I'm going to make a copy of it and moved it over. Select your item first before you crop it. We don't need all this other stuff. We just need the hand. Make sure you get it all, and then crop. So now it's tiny, and if we go to Trace Bitmap, Outline Trace Clip Art, it traces it pretty good. We'll just move it over. Now I'm going to go to Object and Group and ungroup it, and I'm going to get rid of all the stuff we do not need. We'll actually put in a yellow box to see if there's any white back there that we want to get rid of. Go to Object, Order, Back of Page. And there's really no white, so we could get rid of the yellow box. Now, we've ungrouped it so we can get rid of stuff we don't need. Now, watch what happens when we get rid of that. We can't get rid of that. And that's probably the real reason for the video. I'm going to get rid of all this gray matter and pretty much leave everything else. Now I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to left-click and right-click. And I first want to get rid of this line. We can add the line later. So I'm going to take my 2-point line and go from that node to that node. And by doing that, what I'm going to do is create a stopping point for the virtual segment delete key. I just need to get in anywhere that it's got a leak. So now we can take the virtual segment delete key and delete it and see what happened. It did not take away anything. Now, it's pretty messed up. What I would think would be the best way to do this would be able to, instead of trying to correct all this garbage, let's take a 2-point line and put it there, 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 and there. Make sure that one's covering up the line. And I'm just going to take my virtual segment delete key. I'm going to delete all this. We do not need it. We can reduplicate that. We could probably actually leave this, but we'll go ahead and take it all away. And then we can take away our lines that we drew. And I'm just going to hit the delete key on the keyboard. And then just, it would have been nice if I would have maybe made it a little bit more the way it looked, but I'm going to take my 3-point curve line, and I'm going to go from there to there, and I'm just going to give it some curve. Now, later on, we're going to need a box around here, so I'm just going to make an invisible stopping point. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I actually need that fill to fill in. So I need to, what I'll do is just take my, I can actually use my 3-point curve line, just stop it, virtual segment delete key, and delete all that. Whoop. So my line didn't stop it. It must be connected elsewhere. Yeah, it's coming through there. But now what I can do, let's zoom in here. Let's take away our line. And we could actually use the shape tool. And we can click on that node and then just bring that, whoop. Sometimes Corel will do that. It'll, whoop, can't do it. So just take a 2-point line, go from that node to that node. We're not going to worry about it right now. Now on the other one, I deleted a bunch, but instead of doing that, we could take what we think is the worst parts, like, trying to make a line, and see how what I'm doing, I'm just deleting anything that could possibly, because we're going to clean all this up in just a second. See, that didn't work, so we can take away that. Whoop. Let's zoom in here. That should not do that, and it didn't. See, I'm just taking away these rough lines. We're going to fix this in just a second, but we need to go through and get rid of all these lines. This will kind of help the fingers flow through. Same thing here, and don't worry about it that it's a weird shape. We can get rid of these trash pieces. And let's go ahead and delete these lines. Sometimes when there are a lot of little bitty lines, Corel just won't let you delete all of them. I'm going to delete that inside line. The hardest part is trying to get that fingernail correctly or make it look. I didn't take a lot of time, and I told the gentleman I'm trying to help that I didn't take a lot of time working on this, so he can, if he's doing it for real, he could definitely maybe make it look better. Sometimes you got to think, well, it would have been easier if I would have just deleted these lines and did what I did on the first one by just drawing new lines, but this will work. So I'm just getting rid of lines that we do not need. Like, you know, this is a choice, that one or this one. So I'm going to take that one because it's going to leave kind of a curve. And I'm just touching the line with the virtual segment delete key and deleting the line. Almost done. I'm going to go ahead and just take away this, 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 and then all the broken pieces of it. And in just a second, we're going to use the Smart Fill tool to see, here's a choice, either that one or this one. I'm going to go ahead and take away the outside, the outside, the inside, the inside, the inside, maybe the outside. Doesn't really matter. That doesn't look good, so I'm going to take away the outside, inside. And then you just kind of look back and see what it's going to look like. Probably can't delete that line. Yeah, it worked. Because we're going to close all these lines together. Let's go ahead and just take away that line. And then we'll close this line after we delete this box. We can take the shape tool and take this line and put it up there and then curve it around, make it look more. So there's evidently two lines there, but we're going to fix that in just a second when we use the Smart Fill tool. There actually, like there's two lines there. So I'm going to delete all this. I'm actually going to delete this line because you're going to see what I'm going to do in just a second. I'll add a line to make the fingernail. When you're working this close, you've got to zoom in so you make sure you don't take away too much. Almost done here. We'll go ahead and delete the inside. And then you're going to want to probably look at your picture to see what the, see, like there's a choice, inside or outside. So I'm going to do the ones that kind of leave it the smoothest. I'm going to get rid of that, get rid of that, that. I want the Smart Fill tool to flow through there. I think we got it all. I'm going to go ahead and delete this other line. I don't think I want those together. So what we're going to have to do now is take this shape tool again, and this time I'm going to go past it, and then that way I can delete that. Now, before we do anything else, I actually want to go ahead and delete that line. I want the Smart Fill to fill in everything, and we're going to have to repair this right here. I'm actually going to just draw some lines from like there to there. Whoop. Sometimes you still got the 3-point line, but just use it and put a little bit of curve to it. Delete that, delete that. We want it to flow, so we're going to delete that, delete that, delete that. I got a little bitty line on that side. Didn't work. Back up. See how those two lines, see if you got to watch out which one you touch. All right, we've got it all working. I'm going to delete that section because I want the Smart Fill to fill in everything I can, because then I can smooth it out. All right, I'm going to see how big this thing is. It is less than an inch, so I'm going to set my nudge factor on just an inch. I need to probably fix this fingernail. What we can do there is just grab that and just stretch it down there. Well, let's, you know what, just delete it. Take your shape tool, grab that line, and have it just go past. And then we're going to want to put a curve there in a second anyway. So now I got one more bad spot. We don't want that line. Okay, now use this. I do not know that it doesn't leak, so I'm going to take the rectangle tool and I'm going to draw a rectangle around it in case it does leak so it doesn't go everywhere. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. Look at that. I'm going to move it over. Take the Smart Fill tool and move it over. There's our hand. Now it's not perfect. I'm going to left click, no fill, right click outline. At least it's all one piece now. Now I can take the smoothing tool if you have X7 or above. That's about the right size. And you could not do this until you have all the pieces the Smart Fill tool kind of weld them together. Don't worry about the fingernails yet. We're going to worry about them in just a second. I'm going to call that good. He could work on it some more. Now we need to make these fingernails. So and this was just my idea, to take the 3-point curve line and draw a curved line there, about like that. Take the 3-point curve line, put it like that. Take the 3-point curve line, give it a little bit of a curve. So what I'm doing, I'm making the nail more visible in just a second. And this is, you'd want to look at the real picture and see what's going on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill in our nail, and I'm going to move them over. And by doing that, now I can left click, right click. And if you group them together right now, object, group, and group, you can select them all and we could contour. I'm going to go to Effects, Contour. I'm going to contour 0.005 and see what it did. Now we can go to Object and break the contour apart. I'm going to go ahead and take these lines away I drew. I do not need them anymore because that's going to be our, you know what, I might need. Yeah, I just need to take away that line. I'm going to have to get the virtual segment delete key back and delete that line. I want it to flow. But what I'm going to do now is I can grab the inside and see I've left the original side or thumbnails, fingernails. I'm going to hit delete and delete them. Now, if we take our Smart Fill tool and fill that in, look what it did. It left a line around the fingernails themselves. Now he's going to make an edge light out of this. And if you look, I then filled in the fingernails, which you wouldn't really have to. Kind of lost my train. You know what I should have done? I should not have taken those lines away. Let me just back up here before I took those lines away. There we go. Now I can take my lines, and I'd already had them broken apart. Now, when I use the Smart Fill tool, it's going to go around those objects, and then I can fill the color in. Looks pretty good. There's a few things I would change, like I didn't smooth this up enough. Smoothing tool. Now, when you use the smoothing tool, let's make it a little bit smaller. On this, it's going to have a line behind there, as you can see. But I'm just looking at the black, because I'm going to get rid of the line anyway. So now I can take this line and move it out of the way. And take this line and move it out of the way. It would actually be probably safer and smarter to move the other line out of the way, or the black, your Smart Fill, as you were doing it. And then just make this, finger a little bit more, look more like a hand finger. Now what you can do safely is take your black and nudge it down. Take your black, see the line I missed? So I'm just taking the Smart Fill so the lines are staying. Because just in case he's going to cut out the acrylic, you're not going to cut those parts out. And then I would fix this a little bit, but it does kind of look like, maybe I should have put this finger into that one. Let's look what I did on the original. Yeah, see how it's a Let's look at them side by side. Control G to group them and make them a little bit bigger. Yeah, see that fingernail? It looks just a little bit different. You know, this line, well, that line's not connected, but it's a little bit closer. So you could still take this and you could left click, right click, left click, no fill, right click, outline. And you could take this line and get a little bit closer just by taking the shape tool and grabbing. Now, whenever you can't grab it, it's because it's grouped together. Go to Object, Group, and Ungroup. Then you can use the shape tool. And I would say grab those two nodes and just bring it a little bit closer. Now we should be able to just right click, left click, black. They look about the same. I kind of like I put a sharp corner more like the sign, but that looks pretty good. It does kind of look like a, whoop, I don't have them grouped together. Let me get them out of the page. Anyway, I hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.